All right, today let's take a look at doing decimal to hexadecimal conversions. So, and definitely have a calculator handy for this. So I'm going to start out. Well, actually, first, before I start, one of the things I like to do when I'm doing these decimal to hex conversions is have a little cheat sheet of my powers of 16 handy, and you'll see why in a second. All right, so the number I'm going to try is 500. It's my decimal number 500. I want to turn it to hex. So what that means is I need to break this 500 down into a sum of powers of 16. So I'm going to go over here. And the question I ask myself is, well, what's the largest power of 16 that goes evenly, or that goes into 5, that I can take away from 500? And it's going to be 256. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract it. And I get 244. So what I did is I actually took away 1 16 to the second power from 500. All right. So now I've got 244 left. And same question, what's the largest power of 16 I can take away? And it's 16. But something a little different has happened on this one. And that is, now I have to ask myself the question, yeah, but how many 16 to the first can I take away? So you might want to use your calculator for this, right? So I'm going to do 244 divided by 16. And I can take away 15.25 of them, but I'm only doing whole powers. So I'm going to take away 15. So I'm going to subtract 15 16 to the first power from that. And that is 240. Okay. And then we get to the final, so the final difference is 4. And I can take it all away to get 0. And 4 is actually 4 16 to the 0th powers that I was able to take away from it, right? So 1 times 16 squared plus 15 times 16 to the first plus 4 times 16 to the 0 will get us back to 500, right? So at this point, we got to turn it into a hexadecimal number. So write the hashtag to indicate I'm making a hex number, and I've got 1 16 squared, and I've got 15 16 to the first, but 15, remember, we actually have a symbol for that. That's the symbol F. And then in the 0th place, we have the symbol 4. So 1F4 would be the hexadecimal equivalent of the decimal number 500. All right, I'll do one more slightly larger number. So, and this should be enough for you to get a handle on how this works. So I'm going to try the number 78,029. All right, and to save you watching me punch too many buttons on the calculator, I've already worked this out ahead of time. So, so what I'm going to do again, what's the biggest power of 16 I can take away from it? It's that one. So 16 to the 4th. So I'm going to do 65,536. And I took away 1 times 16 to the 4th power. If I subtract that, I'm going to get 12,493. And then I go over here, and let's see, that's 256. And if I take that number and divide it by, actually, it's the biggest one I can take away from that is 4,096, and I think it's pretty clear, like 12,000, 4,000. I could probably take away 3 of those, right? So 3 times 16 to the 3rd power, and that is 12,288. And so I'll subtract this, and I get 205. And then, so we took away some of those, and can't take away any 256s, but I can take away 16s. How many? Well, I can take away 12. 16 to the 1st powers, and that is 192. And then, so we'll subtract 1 last time, and I get 13. And 13 is 16 is a bunch of 16 to the 0ths, right? So subtract that. So that's 13, 16 to to the 0th power. All right, so now to write this in as hexadecimal, right? We have 1/16 to the 4th power. We have 3/16 to the 3rd power. I don't have any 16 squares, so I'm going to put a 0 in that place. I have 12/16 to the 1st power, but the symbol for 12 is a C. And I have 13/16 to the 0th power. And if 12 is the C, then 13 would be the D. Right? So there you have it. That is a decimal to hexadecimal conversion.